Good morning, students. Welcome back to the session. We have completed 5 chapters in physical science. What are that? Force, friction, synthetic fibers and plastics, metals and non-metals, and the last one is sound. So these 5 lessons you have for SA1 portion. Now today in this video I am going to start chapter 6. Before going to start this chapter, some of the important terms which are related to this chapter 6 you have learned in the previous classes, that is 6th class and 7th class. So once we'll recall those all the points which are related to the present chapter, then we'll move to the present lesson or chapter. Okay. See, can you see any object completely if the room is dark or absence of light? Can you see any object? No. Why? To see any object around us, it requires light. In presence of light, we can see any object. Then, what is light? Light is an invisible form of energy. We have different types of energies: sound energy, light energy, water energy, tidal energy, like different types of energies. In that type, light is also one form of energy, and you cannot, that energy is invisible form of energy. Due to this we can see the object clearly. So once again I am repeating, what is light? Here I wrote, once you see what is light, it is an invisible form of energy which makes the objects visible. So that is known as light. Due to the light we can see any object. Okay. On the earth we can see any object. We can see any object due to the presence of light. So due to the sunlight or any other light, we can see the objects on the earth. Now coming to the space, can you see the objects in the space? No. Even sunlight is present in the space, but you cannot see any object in the space. But you can see the objects in the on the earth. Why? The reason for that is on the earth we have the atmosphere, or otherwise on the earth we have atmosphere. Atmosphere means we have the gas molecules and different types of gas molecules, air particles. So all these particles makes atmosphere. So when the light falls on those particles, reflection takes place. Reflection takes place. So to see any object, light is very important. At the same time, light should reflect on that objects, and it should reach to the our eyes. Then only we are able to see that different object. So on the earth we have the air-made atmosphere, and in that we have the different types of particles. So these particles are reflectors, means when light falls on those particles, it reflects the light. The reflected light is reaching to us. But coming to the space, even sunlight is present. Even sunlight is present, but we cannot see any things in the space, because there are no particles to reflect the light. There are no particles to reflect the light. So for to see any object, the important property is reflection of light by the surfaces. Now we discussed what is light and why we can see the objects. The next one is light always travels in the form of straight line. Light always travels in straight lines. So this property is known as rectilinear propagation of light. What we'll call rectilinear propagation of light. For this, see, morning time when sun is rising, the sun rays are slanting. At that time or any time when you open the windows or doors through small holes of the windows and the doors, the sun rays are coming, that you can see that sun rays are traveling in the straight lines. The sun rays are traveling in the straight lines. Or otherwise, night time when you are traveling, if you observe, you may observe that from the street lines, the stream of light rays are traveling in the form of straight lines. So these two are the examples of light always travels in straight line, and this property is known as rectilinear propagation of light. Okay. See, in the universe, on the earth and in the universe, when you compare the speed of any object, speed of any object, then the speed of light is very fast. The speed of light is very fast and more than you cannot compare with any one. Speed of any object. So what is the speed of light in vacuum? That is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. Means in 1 second, light travels 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters. Means 10 to the power of 8 means 3 after you keep 8 zeros. 8 zeros. And you count ones, tens, hundreds, thousand, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakhs, 30 crores. So in 1 second, light travels 30 crores meters. When you change this value into kilometers, then the light travel 3 lakh kilometer. How many? 3 lakh kilometer per second. In 1 second. In 1 second, light travels 3 lakh kilometers. Generally, if you take a car or bus or any vehicle in 1 hour, not in 1 second, in 1 hour, that vehicle covers a distance of either 60 or 100 or more than flight, means it takes 150 or 300 like that. But here the kilometers are how many? 3 lakh kilometers in 1 second. So there is no comparison, the speed of light with any object. Next, the things around us. We have so many things around us. So based on the light, these things are classified into 2 types. How many types? 2 types. What are that? Luminous objects and non-luminous objects. What are that? Luminous objects and non-luminous objects. What are luminous objects? Some of the objects, they are giving the light by itself. They are giving the light. For example, sun. Sun is burning, filled with gases. So explosions are taking place. So when it is the sun is giving light and heat. And if you take the torch light, it is giving light. Tube light giving light. So some of the objects which are giving light by itself are known as luminous objects. And what are non-luminous objects? The objects which are not giving light, but they appear that they are giving light, but the objects are reflecting the light when light falls on those objects. Once again, I am repeating. Suppose if you see moon in the sky, you can see light from the moon night time, like Paurnami time you can see that light. So actually that moon is not giving light. When the sunlight falls on the moon, moon is reflecting the light to us. So that we can see the reflecting light is reaching to our eyes. Then we can see that moon is giving the light. Here luminous means you can take the example of a sun gives light, and the non-luminous means you can take the example of moon. Any what we'll call planets, any planets, or you can take wood, book, all the remaining things. So the reflecting light falls on those objects and then they emit the light. Okay. Next one is, we can also classify the things. We can also classify the things depend on whether the object allows the light to pass through it or not. See, when you on the tube light, the tube light is giving light. Okay, when it is giving light, the light falls on different objects which are around us or in the room. So when light falls on those different objects, some of the objects absorbs light, some of the objects are not absorbing the light, and some of the objects are absorbing partially, means the rays are passing through those objects. So based on that, these objects are again classified into 3 types. Once again I will read this. We can also classify the things depending on whether the object allows the light to pass through it or not. For example, if I take this pen, so the light from the tube light is falling on that pen. So from this pen, the light rays are coming through this pen backside? No. The light rays, whatever they are falling on this pen, the pen is reflecting light rays. When you take a paper, for example, if you take any paper, so some of the rays they are passing through this paper, not all the rays. Very few of the rays they are passing through the paper. Like if you take a book, when light falls on this book, so the rays are not passing through the book. Based on that, the objects are again classified into 3 types. So what are that? 1 minute, I'll rub this. There, the first one is transparent objects. The next one is translucent object. And the third one is opaque objects. What are these 3? What are transparent objects? For example, if you take a torch light, when you switch on, from the torch light, the light rays are coming, a beam of light rays, more quantity of light rays are coming from the torch light. So when you place an object here, that a transparent object, so all these light rays are passing through. Suppose 100 rays are coming from the torch light. So all these 100 rays are coming through this transparent object. So such objects are known as transparent objects. So what are the examples of transparent objects? Pure water, not impure water, pure water, crystal clear water, and glass, plain smooth glass, and some of the plastics, and we can take it as, so these are all the examples of transparent objects. Now translucent object, here if the rays are 100 and all the 100 rays are coming through this object, so they are transparent. Now if you take the translucent object, if from the torchlight only half, very few of the light rays are coming, means these objects are allowing few of these rays to pass through those objects. Such objects are known as translucent objects. So what are the examples of translucent objects? When you apply oil to a paper or butter to the paper, it comes under, so that is the example of translucent object. And next, if you wear the sunglasses, so that is also one of the example. Next, coming to the opaque objects. So opaque objects means when from the torchlight, what are the rays are coming, this object, some of the objects are not at all allowing those rays to pass through them. So here 100 is just an example I am giving. If 100 rays are coming from the torchlight, even one ray also, this object is not allowing to pass through it. No ray is coming through this object. Such object is known as opaque objects. So these are the three types of objects. So for the formation of shadows, it is very important that due to the opaque objects, we are getting the shadows. So what are the objects are required in 6th class? You have this topic. I think even 7th class also. For the formation of image, what are the things are required? It is very important for 1 mark. So opaque object, light source. When light falls on the opaque object, even the human body is also opaque object. So when light falls on human body or opaque object, our body does not allow to pass the light rays through our body. So then obviously we get a shadow. To catch a shadow, we required either a surface or a screen. Once again I am repeating, to get a shadow, what are the materials required? So this is very important for 1 mark. What are that? An opaque body, a light source, and a screen or any surface. Next, we will discuss about, here in the first point I used a word as reflection. So what is reflection? Suppose here this is a board. So when light falls on any surface, or if it hit on any surface, the light rays are bouncing back, going back. So that bouncing back of light rays in the same medium, whether it is the air medium or we have the different mediums, air medium, water medium, like that we have different mediums. So reflection phenomenon takes in the same medium. When light falls on this board, it reflects, means it touching the surface and it goes back, bounces back. So this is known as reflection. Now we will discuss, today's topic is reflection of light by plane surfaces. What is our topic today? Chapter 6, reflection of light by plane surfaces. Before going to this topic, here I explain what is reflection and what is light, and you know about the plane surfaces. We have the different types of surfaces. Plane surfaces, curved surfaces, rough surfaces, like we have the different types of surfaces. Only we will discuss in this chapter about the plane surfaces. Next, when light coming from a source of light rays travel. So the path of light, the path or the direction along which the light energy travels in a medium. From any source, light is coming from the tubelet, you will get the light rays. So these light, now I am going to explain what is the ray of light. What is ray of light? So what is the ray of light? Either the direction or the path along which light energy travels in a medium is known as a ray of light. So ray of light means in the light chapter, the direct, you must show the direction. For example, from this torchlight the rays are coming. So in which direction rays are coming? From this it is coming. So you have to write, draw the arrow mark like this. So you must show the direction in the ray diagrams. Next, another one is beam of light. Actually from the tubelet or any source of light, we will not get only one light ray or 100 light rays. We will get millions of light rays. Okay, so when so that we can categorize it into three types. We will call it as beam of light. So this beam of light is again classified into three types: parallel beam of light rays, converging beam of light rays, and diverging beam of light rays. Suppose from this torchlight, if you get all the rays are parallel to each other like this, so a bunch of rays, simply beam of light rays means a bunch of rays. All these rays will call it as beam of light rays, and all these light rays are parallel to each other. And all these rays are parallel to each other. So these rays are known as parallel beam of light rays. Next one is converging beam of light rays. So converging beam of light rays means from any source the light rays here converging. All these light rays from the different sources are coming and meeting at one point. They are meeting at one point. So these rays are not parallel like earlier. So these are also a beam of light rays, bunch of light rays, and they will meet at one point. So this type of beam of light rays is known as converging beam of light rays. The next one is diverging beam of light rays. So what are the diverging beam of light rays? From one point, the rays are deviating into different directions. The rays are deviating into different directions. So these rays are known as, this beam of rays are known as diverging rays, diverging beam of rays. So these are all we have to discuss in our present topic. And next one is in the 7th class already you learned about the laws of reflection. Once we will revise and discuss. What are laws of reflection? Laws of reflection. There are two laws of reflection. There are two laws of reflection. So light has different types of property. So in all the property, mostly we have to discuss about the rectilinear propagation of light. What are the laws of reflection? Suppose if you take a plane mirror. Plane mirror means mirrors are of different types. What you can get the image. In some of the mirrors we can get the image. Means other side of the mirror they are coated with either aluminum or silver. So in olden days they are coated with the silver, and nowadays silver is costly. Due to that, at present days they are coating with aluminum. So aluminum is cheaper than this silver, and aluminum and the silver, these two are the best reflectors of the mirrors. So they are using this silver and aluminum. So here, which is coated, that mirror we have to represent by these lines. So that side it is coated. Next, suppose from any source, when light falls, if you take, and I have to explain about what is the incident ray and what is the reflected, that also I will explain. So from any source the rays are coming. Suppose if one light ray is coming and touching on the plane mirror. So here the plane mirror, then this ray will call it as incident ray. We'll call it as incident ray, and where it touches the surface, at that surface if you draw a normal. What is normal? Normal is nothing that for this plane surface where this incident ray is touching, at that if you draw a line perpendicular and making an angle of 90 degrees, and that line we'll call it as normal. And draw a normal. If you draw a normal, actually mirrors are the best reflectors. Because these mirrors are polished and very smooth surface, and it is coated with the best reflectors. Due to that, so this light rays are reflected. So again it bounces back again. This light ray bounces back, means it reflected. When it is reflected, here it makes an angle towards the normal. When the light ray incident, it makes an angle towards the normal, and even the reflected ray also. If you measure the angle between incident ray and the normal, this angle is known as angle of incident and will represent with the letter I. And if you take the angle between the normal and the reflected ray, and this angle is known as angle of reflection. We'll call it as angle of reflection. So according to the laws of reflection, the first rule is angle of I is equals to angle of R. Means angle of I is 60 degrees and the reflected ray is also, you will get 60 degrees. Suppose if you throw a ball towards the wall, the ball hits the wall and bounces back. So at what angle you are throwing that ball towards the wall, with the same angle the ball bounces back. That is one of the example. Okay. Next, the second rule. See, sometimes you may confuse the angle of incident is incident ray and this surface will take some time. So this is absolutely wrong. Always the angle of incident is in between the incident ray and the normal. Very important. Normal should be included. Okay. Next, second law. The incident ray, normal and the reflected ray, all the three rays are touching at the same point on the plane, are lying in the same plane, What are the incident ray, normal and normal ray, And the next one is the reflected ray. All these three touches at the same point on the surface, or all these three should lie on the same surface. So these are the points which are related to this topic, and already you learned in the previous classes. Now we are coming to our topic. We'll move to the topic, our topic. Here in the first activity 1, it is given as image formed by a pinhole camera. Image formed by a pinhole camera. So regarding this activity 1 and all, I will discuss in the second video. I will explain the second video. Thank you.